Good morning from Desert Hills, Arizona. Just got hired to remove this saguaro cactus that fell over in a recent windstorm. It was probably weak and rotting from something. And the homeowner found one of our videos as they were doing research on how to remove it themselves. They found a video on us cutting up a saguaro that had fallen on a neighbor's fence up in Anthem. And so they reached out to us. So today I'm gonna help them remove this. We are gonna save 4 arms. We're gonna cut these in 2 to 3 foot sections. This one, that's actually the top of the saguaro. And then those 2 arms over there, we're gonna leave 2 to 3 foot sections of 4 of those. Then the rest of it I'm gonna haul away. And around the base, just gonna cut it flush with grade and let the stump rot in the ground. And all this will get hauled away. So that's the plan. So these are some of the tools I'm using today. Got a chainsaw, good old pitchfork, some hay hooks, and some safety gear. Cut them up using the chainsaw. Then I'll use either the pitchfork or the hooks to load them into my wheelbarrow, take them up a ramp into the trailer. If you're doing this yourself, I highly encourage using the safety gear that needs to accompany a chainsaw. You know, you want to keep your fingers, you want to keep your legs safe from getting cut up. You want to protect your ears, your eyes, your face, all of it. These thorns aren't fun to get in your shoes, so wear some work boots if you have them. Well, I just did my first round of cutting. I cut off all the limbs they wanted to save. Arms, I guess you call them. There's 1 there, 2, 3, 4. So they got 4 arms that they can try to transplant or plant somewhere else. And then the rest of it I got cut up into reasonable sections. There's a couple logs through here because this is actually part of their driveway. They drive vehicles through here. So one of the reasons why they wanted it removed was so they could use this space again. So yeah, it's all cut up into reasonable sections. I'm gonna remove all that I can. And then once that's done, I'll come back and cut up some more. Covered in shavings and muck, and glad I brought some good tools with me. So I'm starting to load these saguaro chunks, just running the wheelbarrow full of pieces up the ramp into the trailer and dumping it. Coming back down for more. It's really nice cutting it all in advance so you can just focus on one task and not have to switch back and forth between tools a lot. But these are the hooks I use. They got a real sharp point. In fact, when they come from the store, wherever you get them from, some of these things are real sharp. I mean, they would cut into skin. Might take a file and file them down a bit, but yeah, they got a little cover for your hand. Let me show you. So I wear gloves when I do this, obviously, but they just bite into the saguaro instead of having the saguaro bite into you. And so yeah, good tool to have. That's how I do it. I'm moving along pretty good on this one. Helps that I was able to park so close. But I just want to show you something here. When you get these bigger sections, obviously you don't want to bury your chain in the dirt, cutting them all the way down to the rocks. But something I'll do is I'll cut it lengthwise, so you can just rip it in half if you need to with your pitchfork or your hooks. Another thing you can do is just tip your wheelbarrow on its edge and then roll a big hunk of something heavy in there. Then you stand. Then you gotta have a good wheelbarrow for this. I've ruined cheap wheelbarrows trying to do this because I saw a landscaper do it once. I was like, oh, I could do that. Well, this is my 3rd wheelbarrow. So this one's lasted though. So what I do is I'll just put a hook into that other side. Then I'll grab with my other hand the side of the wheelbarrow right here, and I'll pull it. Let's see if I can do this with the hook. Yeah, just pull it up, right? And then just roll it up and dump it. So another tip, hope that helps. See what I mean? It'd be pretty tough to load that in just by lifting it with your hooks or any pitchfork by yourself. But tipping over your wheelbarrow, roll it in, tip the wheelbarrow back over. But when you do, if you got your hand inside this lip, you best watch out because those thorns will end up in your hand. It's no joke. So every situation is a little different, obviously, but this one I was really fortunate to get so close to it It was not a long walk to the trailer. That helps a lot. And I've already cut up and loaded all the sections I'm going to. All those 4 or 5 limbs are going to stay. And I'll check in with the customer before I go today. Make sure they want that many. But their hope is to transplant some of these and try to get them dried out and rooted. So I'm just starting up the cleanup process. Part of that includes, what do you do with the stump? So in most cases, the customer has a stump still in the ground. And I've only had one cactus where the whole stump uprooted because the soil was so wet that the cactus just fell over, roots and all. But for this customer, like many others, I'm going to dig around the stump, cut it off at grade, and then rake some soil back over the top of it, and it'll just rot below grade. So that's the plan. So I've already dug around it and exposed enough space to where I can get a cut in there. This chainsaw is 20 inches long, so it's a little long. I might need to rake back some of these mounds of dirt so I don't clip a rock. But yeah, the plan is just to cut another 3-4 inches off of that, then rake the soil back over it. Well, that's what I did. I cut it into a grid pattern on the top, just straight down, both directions, and then just sliced into it from this low side of the hill as far as I could. Cleared off all the cubes, these little chunks that break off from it, and then cut the final section into that little root going up the hillside. So I'm gonna clean this up, get that stump buried, and start raking up all these shavings and saguaro needles and debris, and try to make this area look more like a driveway again. A lot of this stuff will decompose over time, but I don't want to leave the block wall all dirty like that. And it's about customer service, so get it cleaned up. It was about, how far back in the trailer did I fill this? 14-foot trailer. It probably came back about 10 feet. Yeah, it's probably about 10 feet. And maybe a couple feet high. So a few cubic yards of saguaro rounds loaded up. Another happy customer. I want for a saguaro to fall down. Neither do the customers. I mean, these things are like prehistoric looking. They're super cool and just ancient, really old plants that seem to be pretty resilient. I mean, look on this hillside over here. Look at all these things. They're incredible. That one on the left there's got to be, what, 25 feet tall? This one's got 3-4 arms coming out of it. Each of those are a good 10 to 15 feet tall. I mean, these things are just incredible. And they love this southern Arizona climate. Some hillsides are just covered in them, like this forest of saguaros going up the hill. Pretty wild. Well, there it is, all cleaned up, ready to roll. Stump's been buried. After a few good rains, you won't even notice the soil was disturbed, hopefully. And any little shavings in the rocks will decompose. I raked up quite a bit, shoveled up some more, and these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 limbs are gonna stay. And yeah, that's a wrap. Around town junk removal. Helped another customer with a cactus removal. This isn't something I advertise or that we try to do more of necessarily. Of course, it's horrible when a saguaro falls down, but if it happens and a customer reaches out and we can remove it for them, then we will. The techniques that I showed you today are the best that I've been able to figure out so far. Better than what I used to do. I used to not use hay hooks. I'd use a pitchfork exclusively. That was the best I knew. And then one point I was on a job removing a 6,000-pound saguaro. That was one cactus. And filled up the trailer like 3 feet tall, front to back. It was extremely heavy. I mean, 3 tons, literally. And on that job, my pitchfork broke. And so I went out to get a new pitchfork. And when I was there, I was thinking more and more about conversations I've had with people who use hay hooks for a living to deliver hay. And they said, you might consider trying that. So I went to Tractor Supply and bought a pair. And that's been my preferred method since then. Here's something else I learned along the way is that I used to use a Sawzall and just cut it up because I had one. It was convenient, cut pretty good, until you got down to the really thick sections of the cactus where it was more woody, harder to reach. It's just taking hours and hours to cut these up. And so I switched over to a long chainsaw, and these 20-inch bars work pretty good. So that's my preferred method now. Hope that helps you guys. If you need to do it yourself, you can benefit from my failures and what I've learned. If you want me to do it, just reach out to us, aroundtownjunk.com, or give us a call, 602-877-5500, and we'll help you out. Thanks for watching. Part of the dump where all the green waste goes. Not supposed to have any plastic, that's for sure. And it turns into compost. So 2,500 pounds of cactus is gonna get dumped. There's a cat running around the dump. What in the world? Let's see if we got it all out. Pretty big chunks. All right, time to pull forward.